Hello, I'm Sierra Barter, and this is Dr. Houston Byrd, and we're just kind of sitting down talking about the QEP, or otherwise known as the Quality Enhancement Plan. So I'll start with my first question. What is QEP, or otherwise known as Quality Enhancement Plan?
Well, the Quality Enhancement Plan is a vehicle that colleges or universities use to enhance student learning on campus. It dates back to the idea that every university has to be accredited by a governing body. This occurs about every 10 years or so, and our accrediting agency is SACS, the Southern Association of Colleges and Schools. And what they did is they decided that they didn't want to just look at if a university is delivering information. They wanted to understand how that affects the students' learning. So they want each university to develop a plan that, as students go through it, we can show progress in learning. Now, our Quality Enhancement Plan is information literacy. You might have seen the signs around, brick by brick, building information literacy. We wanted to use the brick analogy to tie in to the university as a whole. But the idea there is that information literacy allows someone to obtain, evaluate, and effectively use information. And that's something that's important no matter what discipline that you go in. And so that's the way that we can try to enhance the education here on campus.
Okay. Why is it important for students to know about the Quality Enhancement Plan?
Well, there are two aspects to that. The first, obviously, is an educational component. I mean, if you know about it, then you're more likely to participate in it, and you're more likely to use the information that we give you or the tools that we give you. Obviously, an example of this is if you have to do a research paper, you need to know where to find the sources and how to validate those sources. Now, in life, when you get out of the university, you use those same things. People don't tell you this, go find this information right here. They say, hey, I want you to develop this plan, and you have to be able to figure those two things out. So that's the educational component, and I think all things, research, creative endeavors, communication, really hinges on having good information. So that's the educational component. There's a practical side as well. We talked about the reaffirmation or the reaccreditation by SACS. Well, they're coming on campus March 1st through 3rd. Oh, wow. And they are going to talk to students, and they're going to say, hey, Sierra, tell me about the QEP. And if our students can't tell them anything about the QEP, that's not going to look very good. So the students should have an understanding, the definition of it, the ability to obtain, evaluate, and effectively use information, know the title of it, brick by brick, building information literacy, and possibly knowing some goals, maybe not having them memorized, but knowing some goals and where it's going to be used. You're going to see it in foundational courses like English 101 or Comms 101. And then each department is going to develop a mastery level course or a advancing level course at a junior or senior level. And that way it's integrated throughout your curriculum. And if a student could give them half of what I just told you, we're going to look really good when they go to evaluate our plan. So you've got the educational side, which is important, but you also have the practical side that this is going to look really good for when they come on campus.
Okay. What is your desired outcome for QEP as a university initiative?
Well, I think our desired outcome is that when students typically come in at the freshman level, a lot of times when you ask them to find information, the first place they want to go is Google. And if it's on Google or if it's a Wikipedia thing, it's gold, it's right. What we're trying to get is by the time you graduate, you say, that information might have been good, but is it the best information out there? Do I know how to use that information? Is it valid for what I'm trying to answer? And if students by the end of their career can say, you know what, give me any project, give me any assignment, and I can find you valid sources that will support my idea, then I think we've done the job in enhancing your education on this campus.
To a student, what does QEP represent besides the obvious acronym for Quality Enhancement Plan?
Wow, that's a really good question. I think one thing that it represents is the fact that the university as a whole is really interested in what you learn, okay? In other words, we want to give you a lifelong skill, something that you can take away from Montevallo and be very successful with. I think the other thing that it represents is it's an opportunity for students to also get involved in the learning process, okay? Because as you give us your feedback through these courses and evaluation, you're going to change the way that we approach our education here at Montevallo. And then practically, we get reaffirmed by SACS, and that's a very important component that says that the education that you're getting has some validity to it.
Makes sense. Where would you like the QEP or the Quality Enhancement Plan to be in 5 years?
Well, it's interesting that you say that because it's not going to all show up at one time. Matter of fact, it's going to start in the fall of 2011, and it's going to start in just those freshman courses that I mentioned, English and comms. The next year, we're going to kind of tweak it a little bit, and then by year 3 and year 4, the full thing is going to be rolled out. So by year 5, what I'd like to be able to do is look at all the goals that we've set out and say, okay, we've either reached every one of those goals, probably not practical, or at least we're advancing to those goals. And if a student, when they graduate, says, you know what, I'm better at understanding this material, I'm better at learning what on the web or sources are valid and what's not, then I think we've done something, we've accomplished something there.
Okay, so Dr. Byrd, tell me, how can students find out more about the QEP?
Well, hopefully you've seen posters around campus, the posters of the bricks and talking about the definition and goals. That's one place that you can look. We're going to do a massive advertising campaign to educate students on what the QEP is, those who may have come in and not been at the foundational level of it. We're going to have a game night at a basketball game February 16th to where we're going to have a QEP night. We're going to answer questions about the QEP. We're going to do a lot of giveaways about the QEP. Before we started this interview, I believe there was a commercial that students on campus made. We asked one of the mass comm classes if they would make commercials about the QEP, something made by students to help the students understand it. And so those are things that we're going to do to try to get this information out. You'll see emails. I know everybody reads the broadcast emails, so facetiously anyway. But they'll be on the emails. You'll see things in the library. You'll see information in the cafeteria. It really is important, though, that students be able to understand a little bit about it. So when the SACS visit comes in March 1st through 3rd, that if you're asked by one of the team leaders, can you tell me something about it, the information you can give them. And again, it's going to be on the posters, in the cafeteria. We're going to have a game night. We even have a mascot that we're going to break out for the QEP. So, and I appreciate all that the students have done. Those videos are fantastic. And the opportunity to come and speak with you about the Quality Enhancement Plan. And I just hope that students, when they hear about it, they'll share it with other students. Hey, be aware of this. This is coming up. It's very important, not only for them, but for the university.
Okay. Well, Dr. Byrd, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And we're going to end by watching another QEP video made by our students here on campus.
Welcome into Montevallo News Tonight. I'm your host, Coach Tichikos, and starting off tonight's broadcast is the QEP project taking place on our campus. QEP, or the Quality Enhancement Plan, is an effort by the university to aid awareness in information literacy. The goals are to aid students in determining the nature and extent of information required and also help them better identify sources while using this information effectively, all of which could have helped me pass English 231, my media effects class, and yoga. Stay tuned, because when we come back, we find out just how much I owe in parking tickets.